You know, in a world that feels like it's constantly shifting under our feet, it's easy to feel a little lost. So the big question is, how do we find a real, lasting anchor for our faith? Well, in this explainer, we're going to dive right into that. Let's get started.
I mean, does this question hit home for you? Because for a lot of us, it really does. When everything from what's happening in the world to our own day-to-day feels so uncertain, we can't help but ask, where's the solid ground?
The Church, with all its wisdom, gives us a powerful lens to see through this. The answer, it tells us, is in understanding this huge contrast, the chaos of our world versus the absolute permanence of God's eternal kingdom.
And this conflict is laid out so perfectly in the Mass readings. On one side, you've got the prophet Daniel's vision, these terrifying beasts that are just symbols for all the fleeting, earthly powers that rise and fall. But on the other side, you see the Son of Man, who is Christ, receiving a dominion that is everlasting, totally unshakable. So right there, we're presented with a choice. What are we going to build our lives on?
And here it is. This is the promise. Amid all the chaos, all the noise, the Gospel of Luke gives us this incredible anchor. Think about it. Empires fall, cultures totally change, but this one thing, it remains. This isn't just some nice, comforting phrase. It's the very foundation of our stability.
Okay, so that sounds great in theory, but how do we actually live it, right? How do we take that eternal word and make it our reality every single day? Well, it all starts by creating a daily spiritual practice, a real anchor for our souls. You can think of this whole practice as a kind of spiritual toolkit. It's about really digging into the Mass readings, thinking about what they mean theologically, and then getting inspired by the incredible lives of the saints. The whole point is simple, really, to help you see God's plan unfolding, not just in ancient scriptures, but right here, in your own life.
And this isn't for some special group of people. It's for anyone who just wants to go deeper in their faith. It's for all of us who want to learn to spot Christ's presence in the middle of our busy days and get ourselves ready for the ultimate triumph of His kingdom.
All right, so let's get practical. Let's look at the actual tools that can help us build a stronger, deeper faith. What does a daily spiritual practice really look like?
It's really a four-part framework. First, it connects the dots between the Old and New Testaments, showing you it's all one big, unified story. Second, it gives you the why. It explains that Daniel's Son of Man is Jesus, and that simple fact transforms all those scary warnings into promises of our redemption. Third, it gives you prayers, so you can carry the grace of the Mass with you all day long. And finally, it makes it real, with a specific call to action.
And right at the very heart of everything is the Eucharist. This is mind-blowing when you really think about it. The Catechism tells us that when we receive the Eucharist, we're not just waiting for the eternal kingdom, we are already participating in it. Here, now. It's a true foretaste of heaven.
Now, theory is one thing, but seeing it lived out, that's way more powerful. So let's look at a real-world example of someone who truly anchored her entire life in her faith.
Our model for this is the amazing Saint Catherine Labouré. Her life is just this powerful testament to finding strength not in worldly success, but in God's eternal promise.
These two things, obedience and hidden service, they basically defined her whole life. In a world that is obsessed with getting attention and recognition, she found her holiness in quietly, humbly, following God's will and serving other people without looking for any praise at all.
I mean, her life is just such a beautiful picture of this spiritual practice in action. She wasn't a queen, she wasn't some famous writer. She was a daughter of charity who chose God's unshakable word over anything the world could offer. By listening for God in the quiet moments and offering up her simple daily chores as a gift to Him, she shows us that this path to holiness, it's for all of us.
So, how do we pull this all together? How can these tools and the example of Saint Catherine actually shape our daily lives as we, prepare for Christ's return?
It starts with something called holy vigilance, which is really just a state of being spiritually awake and watchful. And a super simple way to do this is by performing just one intentional act of charity or patience or self-denial each day. Just one. That one small act can train our souls to be ready and watchful.
And you can see here how it all connects and builds on itself. The Holy Mass is the power source for our holy vigilance to get us ready for Christ. The Eucharist fuels our humility and service, which purifies our souls. And daily prayer, that gives us the discernment we need to stay anchored in God's Word. Every single piece works together to build a faith that is strong and resilient.
Ultimately, the Christian message about the end of the world isn't supposed to be one of fear.
It's a message of profound, incredible hope. When we have this anchor for our faith, we don't have to hide or be afraid. We can stand tall, raise our heads, knowing that our redemption is getting closer.
Let's just end with this beautiful prayer. It really captures everything we've been talking about, asking that we can grow in humility and love and remain faithful to your eternal kingdom. Thank you so much for joining me.